In this video we're going to show you how to replace the brake fluid on your motorcycle. Stay tuned. This is a generic way of replacing the brake fluid on your motorcycle. If your bike's got ABS, you might need to do it differently, so be wary of that. We'll show you how to do it manually and how to do it with vacuum pump. The pumps and brake fluid is available on the website, follow the link in the description, but now let's show you what tools you need. So the tools you need for this are a vacuum pump. If you've not got one of them, then a jug and a tube will do just fine. And you also need the correct tools for your bike. If you're using a vacuum pump, then ensure that the tube going from the bleed nipple goes to the bottle. You then want to attach another tube to the other side of the bottle, and that then connects to the pump. When using the vacuum pump, make sure you keep the bottle upright at all times. You don't want the pump sucking in any fluid. If it does, it's probably ruined. This one has lasted us years. First, you want to gain access to the reservoir. Once you've done that, remove the cap, and I advise putting some blue roll around to catch any spilt fluid so it doesn't get on your paintwork. Now remove the old brake fluid. If you've got a vacuum pump, you can simply just draw it out with that. If not, then a sponge will work quite nicely. Once the old fluid's out, you want to give the inside of the reservoir a good clean. We like to use blue roll. Then top it up with some brake fluid. If you've got a vacuum pump, you want to attach the tube to the bleed nipple. Then you want to build the pressure up on the pump. You want the dial to get at least halfway. Once you've done that, undo the bleed nipple. You should only have to turn it about a quarter of a turn. Then you should see the fluid start drawing through into the bottle. It's vital at this point to keep the fluid topped up in the reservoir. If it gets low, tighten the nipple back up and top it up again, then repeat the process. Once the fluid you're drawing out is nice and clean, then all the old fluid should be out. Let a little bit more come through just to be sure until the reservoir is just below the full line. Then tighten the bleed nipple back up and pump the brake. Next you want to check the fluid level, and if it's just below the full line, fit the cap back on and clean the area so it's free of brake fluid. Then you want to test the brake and make sure it operates correctly. Now if you're doing it manually, it is going to be more time consuming and it may not get all the fluid out unless you spend extra time and use extra fluid. That being said, it still gets the job done. You want to start by putting the spanner over the bleed nipple. Then you want to attach a tube to the bleed nipple and put a jug under that. Now this part is much easier when you've got an assistant. You then want to pump the brake and hold it down and keep it held down. Then loosen the bleed nipple and tighten it back up again. You can then release the brake, pump it again, hold it back down, and then undo the bleed nipple and tighten it back up, and keep repeating this process until the clean fluid starts going into the jug. At all times you want to ensure that the brake reservoir stays topped up. You then want to tighten the bleed nipple, pump the brake, check the fluid level, and then fit the cap back on. Then you want to clean all the old brake fluid off and then test the brake operates correctly. So that's how you replace the brake fluid on your motorcycle. We recommend doing this every 2 years or so. You need to bear in mind that brake fluid is hygroscopic, which means it absorbs water. So storing a big bottle in a damp garage is not a good idea. We recommend either using a small bottle or squeezing the bottle and doing the lid up quite tight so air can't get inside it, and store it in a cool, dry place. Be aware not all motorcycles use DOT4 brake fluid, so check your motorcycle's manual to see what type your bike uses. Thanks for watching. Brake fluid and vacuum pumps are available on the website. Follow the link in the description and don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon for notifications. Once you've done that, just top it up with some brake cleaner. Brake fluid.